you're listening or watching this episode, it means that you want more knowledge, clients, money, and of course, better business and life. You know that your ability to plan and execute is essential to your success as a real estate agent or broker. So here's how you build a remarkable real estate business. Over the past 15 years, we have coached and interviewed thousands of agents and 30 of the top agents in the country, including number 4 and number 7 according to Forbes and the Wall Street Journal. And we've discovered that they all do different things and they do it in different ways. But they all do the major things exactly the same way. So let's start with what they don't do. They don't do cold calls. They don't call expired listings. They don't just send postcards. What they do is 100 times more powerful than any of those things. And even now, hardly any agent or real estate broker understands the strategy. The Masters in Real Estate Sales program from the Montiel organization gives you the opportunity to discover and implement those strategies and develop a plan customized for your business. This is the advice, the training you wish you had years ago. In an industry where, please listen to this, according to the Florida Association of Realtors, the average income of a full-time agent with 12 years of experience is $28,160. So you must definitely have a clear and simple strategy that actually works. So go to our website, montielorganization.com, or call 305-305-5965 to find out how you can build a remarkable real estate business. So now, let's go back to the interview. Welcome to our second season for the Miami Real Estate Show. Today, I have the pleasure and honor to interview Ashley Cusack, top producer for one of the most luxurious and important real estate companies in South Florida, EWM. Ashley, thank you very much for being in the show today. It's a pleasure for me to be in one of your beautiful listings. So before we get started with the interview, everything about you, your background, your success in real estate, tell me where we are.
So this is a home that's about to be listed on Alhambra Court. It's a beautiful street. It's protected. A lot of people don't even know that it exists, but it sits on the Biltmore Golf Course.
Right.
So the lot's 25,000 square feet. It's beautiful and with gorgeous views. This is where you want to be on the 4th of July to watch the fireworks show.
Exactly.
But it's a gorgeous house that has been completely refurbished, and they've done a really nice job. It is an Art Deco style, so built in the 30s, but of course all the modern amenities with impact doors and windows and just the highest finishes ever.
Well, as a resident of Coral Gables, I can truly appreciate this is actually one of my favorite streets in the Gables, and as you said, in 4 of you lights, it's a great place to be to see the fireworks. So tell me a little bit about yourself. Why real estate? How you got started in the business, and how long have you been doing real estate?
So I started about 25 years ago.
Okay.
Right out of college, I ended up getting an opportunity to work with Audrey Ross, who
One of our
was
top agents in Florida.
Yes, and she was a top producer back then as well. And
I think she still is.
She still is. She still is. And so she had a firm, Ross and Associates, and I started as her assistant. And I worked for her for 2 years as an assistant, got fabulous experience, and stayed with her company, but went on my own. And I was probably with her company about 10 years, and then she sold to Esslinger, Wood and Maxwell. And that's how I ended up there. But it was a great opportunity to kind of learn from the ground up about real estate and on the luxury, like high-end market. So
you answered my second question, which was, did you have a mentor? And yes, you had one of them, great mentor, one of the top producers in the industry, and then you got to work with another great company in our city. So tell me, do you have any particular habit that you perform in a daily basis to achieve such a huge success in real estate? I don't know if I mentioned at the beginning of the conversation, but you've been in the top 10 agents for your company for many years.
The entire time that I've been with us.
Exactly, for many years. And I know you have, how many listings you have right now?
I have about 25 listings
25,
right now.
and I guess I assume that pretty much all of them are luxury listings, right?
Most of them are luxury listings. I work with, I kind of see it as my great privilege to work with past clients and clients' children. And so you'll see some other listings in there also, because like I said, I think that's kind of the privilege of our business, is we get to work with referrals and past clients. So,
So my question is, what do you do on a daily basis that allows you to perform at such a high level?
well, I start my day at 4:45 in the morning.
Okay, like pretty much like myself, you know, an early riser. Okay.
I go for a run.
Aha,
With
very
my,
good exercise.
with my running partner.
Okay.
And so we usually run 5 miles
That's great.
during the week, and track workout one day a week. So
Okay.
that gets me going. That kind of gets my day started, gets
Right.
me off to the right, on the right foot.
Right.
And from there, I take my kids to school, and then I'm in the office very early.
Okay.
And it gives me an opportunity, a quiet time, to kind of get caught up and get everything in order for the day.
Actually, before the interview, you were mentioning to me that you're a coach also for your kids' teams, right? Can you talk a little bit about that? Because it's an
So-
important thing that we were going to talk about, time management and how do you manage. I
Right,
mean, you
right.
have a family, you have kids that are growing up, you have a very successful business. So how do you manage that time, and what do you do to keep yourself focused?
So, as far as time management, I realized early on that there were a lot of things I wanted to do. I wanted to give back in the community. I wanted to, once my children were born, be a big part of their lives. So I learned, I may not be getting as many manicures as other people get. However,
Yeah.
I can incorporate all these other areas into my life and into my business and into my personal. So my volunteer work ties into my business, but it gives me an opportunity to get out in the community and help out and do things. And my children's school, I'm very involved with. I love that keeps me involved with the kids, with the parents. Yet it's still my sphere of influence where my
Right.
business, a lot of my business comes from. So
And you also mentioned before the interview that you have a very important family member working with you in the business, which is,
yes, so my mom works with me and has for about 17 years.
wow.
Yeah, my son is 16, so I think she feared being my nanny possibly. And
Okay.
thought
All
I'll
right.
go get my real estate
right.
license. She said, "You're going to need help," and
Okay.
she was my first assistant. Since then, I now have 3 more assistants, but that was how it got started. Kind of the growth of my business was at that time. So it's
So I want to stop there and really go deeper into that, because I think you've done something very clever in your business, which is incorporate your mom, right, into the business. You have incorporated also social activities and activities from your kids' school to actually help your business. For most agents, their problem is that they have those two lives, but if you can call it like that, completely separated, right? So when they're with their family and kids, there is something completely different, and when they're at work, they're missing their family. So I think you did something very good that you were able to mix, right? Your family time with your mom, your school work with the kids, being involved with the community, giving back, and at the same time putting that into the business. So that's a great way of keeping everything together, right?
It was selfishly for me.
Right.
I didn't want to give up on any aspect of my life. I love my business, but I love my children, and I love being able to participate in the community and giving back. I grew up in Miami, so I'm a Miami native, and it's important to me that we kind of do what we can to help others. And so
now you have combined your family, your work, your social activities together, and I think we know that's extremely positive. We see your results as a top producer in South Florida. What challenges are you facing currently right now as a real estate professional?
Well, our constant challenge is the market's always changing.
Right.
We just don't live in a business that remains flat, which is also the fun of it.
Right.
So, I mean, we're having to be on top of information daily and make sure that we are up to date with what's going on. So that's probably the biggest challenge, is always just kind of going with the ride.
Okay.
That,
And that being said, how do you see right now the interviews being recorded in September of 2016? How do you see the real estate market here in South Florida for the next 12 to 18 months?
So we kind of had a little blip at the beginning of the year, at the beginning of 2016, and it was hard to know what was going to happen. But we really leveled out, and we've seen a pretty healthy market since then. We talked about earlier, our international market has really kind of, gone to the wayside a little bit for the moment. We know that will always come back. Miami's an international city, and everybody wants to be here. But as our dollar is stronger in all these other communities, we're seeing less of those buyers. So we're seeing a lot of local buyers, but a lot of people that didn't buy at the beginning of the year, were sitting on the sidelines, are realizing interest rates are still so low. It's such a great opportunity. They still want to move. This is their opportunity. So they are moving, and we do have a lot of people from the Northeast that come down as well. So we're seeing a pretty healthy market, and I anticipate that we're not going to grow at some crazy rate in the next 12 to 18 months, but I think we'll stay on target. I think we'll kind of maintain this, which is, like I said, it's a very healthy market. It feels not like a buyer's market, not like a seller's market. We're, which is really a good place.
And I agree with you. The foundation of the real estate market, especially in Miami, Miami Beach, and Fort Lauderdale, is extremely strong, right? We have the demand from the Northeast, from the West Coast. We always had the South American clients because of security, political, economical reasons. They bring their family here. The only issue right now is the currency, the strength of the dollar, right? And so that keeps even Canadians, keep them back from buying right now. But if you see all the fundamentals, I mean, we're one of the only 7 states in the country that do not have a state income tax, right? Which is amazing for all those wealthy clients that come within the United States from other regions. So the foundation is great. The location, we are the 3rd technological hub in the United States, the 2nd financial hub in the country, the gateways to the Americas. I mean, the foundation of our industry of real estate is extremely strong. And this area where we're located right now, Coral Gables, is pretty much a local area that always remains very, very strong.
And even the people that come from out of town know about Coral Gables. So it really does always seem to hold,
Same thing happens in Coconut Grove, where I know you are a very, very good top producer in that area.
Right. I grew up in Coconut Grove, and Coconut Grove also is a very well-respected area that a lot of people coming into out of town know about. So
I would say even more sometimes than Coral Gables. What do you think?
I think they both, and
it's more a touristic place.
They both have their own personality.
Right. Completely. They're 2 completely different areas. They're next to each other, but once you pass Lejeune, right, is Coral Gables and
I love to drive clients down Lejeune, and I like to show them to the east.
Right.
See that it's overgrown, and that's Coconut Grove, and then to the west you see manicured. And to me, it's the perfect place to give them the personality.
I live by Canopy Avenue and the Grove, and then we moved like 10 years ago back to the Gables. But it's 2 completely different cities. Even though they're next to each other, it's a different feeling environment. Yes. So in terms of, wanted to talk to you about social media. Are you active in social media? I know you are, but I wanted to to share with the audience in terms of social media. What do you do to stay active? I know you have help, etc.
I do. So I have help outside of my office. I've hired 2 fabulous women who do all my social media for me, because it's fun and wonderful and very time consuming. And to do a good job, you really need to understand each different each different market. The Instagram is different than Facebook and Twitter and Pinterest. So they're fabulous at it, and they do a great job getting my listings exposed and putting information out there and just kind of keeping it fun and interesting. So
you know what, Ashley, you mentioned something. I asked that question a lot. Are you using social media? Some people use it, some people don't. Most people use it. But you mentioned something that I didn't hear before, which is not only you need to use social media or know about social media, but there are so many different outlets or sources, right? Facebook is completely different from Twitter, from Instagram, from Pinterest. So you need an expert, right, to handle those things, because it's not only about having the account on those platforms, it's actually knowing how to use it. Right. when I do the seminars on social media, one of the first questions I ask is, please raise your hand, the people that use Facebook. And most people raise their hand. And I say, are you actually using Facebook, or is Facebook using you? And for most agents, it's
Right.
Facebook is using them. They're
Right.
not taking the advantage of that.
Right.
So in this case, you have two people that are in charge of your account.
Right.
Which takes me, I'm going to jump, which takes me to something very important, which is delegation. In my own personal opinion, after coaching so many agents and being in the industry for a long time, I found out that there is a ceiling of complexity, right, for real estate agents, that you reach at about $120,000 if you're on your own,
Right.
and it's almost impossible, right, to go above that threshold, right, in income, about $120,000, if you don't delegate,
Right.
and even sometimes lower than that, $80,000, $100,000. And even if you're making that kind of money on your own, it's very difficult.
Right.
And it takes a toll on you, on your family, etc. So I know you have a team. Can you talk a little bit about that and your team, and how that team not only helps you, but also helps your clients?
Right. So it was very hard for me at the beginning because I'm a control freak. I
Okay.
like to really be involved with all of it.
Okay.
But exactly like you said, you just can't manage it all yourself. And so when my mom joined me, she was actually my first assistant.
17 years ago.
17 years
right?
ago, and she did a great job and definitely helped me open up time that I could do other things. We realized quickly that I did need somebody else because, you talk about Facebook,
Right.
and but emails,
Right.
emails
There you go.
all day long. While I'm here with you, while
Right.
I'm with a client, I'm not checking my emails because it's it's rude.
Right.
It's not. So I have two girls in the office that really set up appointments, check emails, make sure all of our contracts and timelines are running smoothly. Things that I realized I could release to very, very good people, not to just anybody,
Exactly.
but to very capable people. And they help me make sure that my clients are getting the best service possible, so that while I'm out showing a property or I'm out with a client, we're still moving forward and making sure that everything is seamless.
Now, and that part of delegation, now that you have a team, and I'm sure you didn't start it, you started with your mom, one, and then you started
Yes.
adding and
Then I
adding
added,
people, because
yes.
some agents say, well, but I can afford to have, an assistant, or well, you start part-time, full-time. It's good that you bring somebody from the family to help you out. So those are the team that you have. Do you have any systems to automate maybe your email marketing campaign, maybe a CRM? Do you use systems for your business or not?
I really don't. We organize it ourselves.
Okay, good.
We really just kind of go through. We have an office meeting twice a week
Okay.
that we go over everything that
Your
we're doing.
own system, okay.
Yeah, and so it's
Okay.
our own kind of organization, because again, I want to make sure that I'm involved in it. We send any marketing that we've done. Every time we show a house, we send a showing report. So every other week we send this out, which also helps to go over what's going on.
Okay.
It's kind of a form of our.
So you're automating the process of keeping in touch with your clients.
Yes.
Which is something that we preach a lot, which is you first need to automate, right? And if you can't automate it, then think about how you can delegate it, right?
Right.
So you can liberate yourself and do what you do best and
Right.
what you get paid for,
Right.
which is to help your clients,
Right.
right? That brings me to another point, which we touched briefly earlier in the conversation, which was time management. So you have the kids, you have the family, you have the business, you have the clients. So is it, because you answer, you combine everything together to a certain degree to make you the success you are today. But is it actually time management a problem, an issue, or is probably an excuse or a myth? What do you think? I think it's a myth. I think it's an excuse. But in your case, how do you see it? Because you have all the excuses to say I can't do it. I have two kids growing up. I'm a coach, so.
I think it's whatever your reality is. I think it's whatever your priority is.
Right, there you go.
And that's where it's funny. Your life changes at different times, and right now I've got an 8th grader and a 10th grader.
Right.
I won't have them forever. When they're gone,
Very
I
good
will
point.
have more time to do other
Right.
things, but right now, that's important. So I need to, I may not get to do as many things as I want to do. It's not about me going to a spa
Right.
or it's
The manicure, you said.
the
Right.
manicure.
Right.
It's about me
Right.
incorporating their lives into. So I don't have a lot of extra free time. I don't sit around and have downtime. But this is how I get to enjoy my life, and so it's just a full life. But it's good. So time management to me, if you are trying to squeeze something in that may not be so important, then maybe you don't have the time, and it's hard to. But if you kind of, I don't know.
But see, you touch on a point that we said a lot of in our seminars, in our courses. It's time management, and you mentioned if you're trying to do something that is not that important. Most of the things we do during the day, if you actually sit down and analyze it, are not that relevant.
Right.
They are not that relevant. One of the most successful investors in history, which, by the way, bought your company, Warren
Right.
Buffett, right?
Yes.
He has a saying that goes like this, and the most famous investor probably in history.
Right.
He says, there are a lot of things to learn about investment. Most of them are irrelevant, right? And it's pretty much with the things we do
Right.
daily in our business. And most of the things we're doing are irrelevant. Just keep it simple, clear, and focused, right? You have achieved that with delegating. You've achieved that by combining that with your other activities that are not related to business. And now the most important question is marketing, all right? Do you believe in marketing? I know the answer, but I want you to share with us. Do you believe in marketing?
I do.
Which is extremely important.
I wholeheartedly believe in it. Like I said, I started with Audrey Ross, who also always did a great job marketing. And I learned there that, should budget on each house, how much we're going to spend. I don't,
Right.
because my goal is to give it as much exposure as possible.
Okay.
And something might need something different than another home does. So we cover kind of all gamuts. I want to make sure that I can look at my client and say we've done everything
Okay.
possible to expose it. There's no stone left unturned. So we do a magazine that we think is relevant and important
Very
for
good. Very good.
we lots of the social media,
Okay.
lots of obviously emailing and all of that. But I'm still in print. I'm still sending brochures because people still tell me they saw that,
Right.
and that's how they came to the house.
Right.
But I do believe marketing is what makes it's why we're here. If without marketing, people have access to all this information. They
There you
don't
go.
need they don't need
There you
us. So if
go.
we're not going to really give them some exposure that they wouldn't get on their own,
Right.
then what's our purpose? So.
You just said it the way we say it. When we're doing seminars, we say every single top producer understands that they are not in the business of real estate. They are in the business of marketing.
Right.
Anybody can show a property, right?
Right.
Anybody can say, this is the kitchen, this is the bathroom, that beautiful view is where the balcony is. That's so simple, right? But what differentiates the struggling agents from you guys, it's the ability to do the right marketing, right? And you're combining both. You're combining, as I'm hearing you talking, the offline and the online. It's not only one thing.
Right.
So
Oh,
what
no.
you do, you really do 360, strategy for your marketing, right? You have the email, you have the social media, you have the offline, you have the postcards, you have the magazines, right? Which takes me now that we agree on marketing, it's how do you stay, because you said it, sometimes clients know more than you. How do you stay current with the knowledge, with the changing market every single week? Every single week there's a new house in Coral Gables pending, reduced price, for sale, close sale. So how do you stay up to date with the knowledge? And when you make a presentation, the client goes to you and says, wow, actually you're the one that I want for the job of selling my home.
Well, I really live it. This is what I do. So every day we're doing comparables on every single area that we work, because we need to do them for a certain listing, or we need to talk to a client. Maybe we need to adjust something. every single day we're doing comparables. So every day we're up to speed on what's happening.
And how long can you invest in comparables? Maybe half an hour a day? Not even.
Probably, but it doesn't take that long
Right, that's
really
what I'm
to do
saying.
them.
Yeah.
So you get an idea.
Right.
So you can
Right.
say, this is how much per square foot we are right now,
Right.
and this is where the average is, and
Right.
and maybe this is why we're not getting activity or why we are getting activity. So, but I wanted to also mention back, you had said when people talk about getting an assistant, maybe it's expensive, and that kind of goes hand in hand with marketing. And I think a lot of people sometimes short-sightedly think they can't afford to do it. I've got a dear friend who I keep telling her she's got to put a great website together
Okay.
and blog and
Right.
get all this information out
Right.
because she would be fabulous at it, and she's got great content to put out there. And they resist because they think they can't afford it. But once you start putting it in, it comes back.
Exactly.
And I think it's
You
so
got it.
important. And
You got
and
it.
about an assistant, the way you said, the way you start, maybe it's hourly that you pay somebody, but little by little you realize I need somebody more full time, and then all of a sudden you've taken your business to a different level,
Right.
and now you can afford it, and it's helping to feed your business.
Great point. It's a business, right? And we need to put the investment first. And again, sometimes, and I've talked to some agents, and some of them send 2,000-3,000 postcards a week, but they didn't start at 2,000-3,000 postcards a week. You have 3 assistants. Well, you didn't start with 3 assistants, right? You start with a virtual assistant, then with a part-time assistant, with a full-time assistant, and you start adding and adding and adding people and growing. And not only that allows you to grow your business in terms of financial means, but it also allows you to have a much more comfortable life, right?
Right.
And more relaxed way to talking to your clients. You're not in a hurry all the time.
Right. One, and like you've already said, that I incorporate all these other areas into my life. It's allowed me to do that.
Exactly.
And I love that because
Exactly.
it's a great business, but it's all consuming. And my phone is on until I go to bed at 11
Right.
o'clock at night. And, if somebody calls me, I will answer.
Right.
So you've got to be able to fit all this other in, but you really can't at this level without having other people helping. So
You
it
got
really,
it. It happened today, and your assistant and my assistant communicated. It
Yes.
was kind of raining, and
Right.
we didn't know if we were going to do the interview, but we didn't have to be involved,
Right.
right?
Right.
And again, it's not that you have to start there, but I started. I remember with $125 a month answering service. It's called 1-800-WE-ANSWER. I didn't have the money to pay for somebody to answer my phone.
Right.
Now today I have the staff, but you need to begin with the end in mind, right?
Yes.
And then you have your little business, and then that business grows. The thing is to have the mentality of the business owner, where I need to put the investment in time and money first, even if it is a little bit, and then I'll see it grow. Like you said, you will see the return back.
yes.
So to end the wonderful conversation, and again, thank you very much for having the time to spend with us and sharing all your knowledge and wisdom. If you could give a piece of advice to a new agent, what would it be?
I think the most important thing in our business, and it almost sounds cliche, but it's that you really have to put the customer first. And you have to remember that while this is your business, they're trusting you with their home. And it's the most important investment many people have.
Yep.
And I see some people who selfishly look at it like, what am I going to make out of this? How am I going to get? And I feel like they lose the point. And if you go in with an honest, I want to help you and I'm going to do what I can to, you see the return from that. And I think it's the most important thing. And I think I see just a lot of new agents that sometimes don't understand that this is a business that they just want to, how much money are they going to make?
Right.
But you have to know that there's another side to this. We're really involved in the middle of people's lives and a very important part of it. So,
Extremely important point. There is a saying, most agents are very self-aware, right? They're aware of themselves. As is the me, I'm the top producer, the my listing, my sole property, my company. It's all about me, right? They center themselves too much in themselves instead of the client. So what we call is going from the agent-centric approach to the client-centric approach, right? And there's a saying that we all hear before, which is, nobody cares what you are and who you are until they know how much you care about them, right?
Right.
So I think that's concentrated always in your client first. What about an advice for an experienced agent? You've been doing this for 25 years. all right? You had great success, so you have more than enough wisdom and experience to help an experienced agent. What would you tell that experienced agent to take it to the top producer level? I mean, to the levels where you are performing today.
I think I would, I think you've got to make it part of your life. I mean, I think you have to make it so that this is not going to work every day.
Right.
This is going to do something that you enjoy and something that you're going to get passion from so that you can express that enthusiasm because I think that all of that helps to feed on the success.
Excellent.
And I think it helps you take it to the next level.
Well, Ashley, thank you. Thank you very much for being here today. Now, this is the opening of our second season. I really enjoy interviewing you today. And thank you for having me in this beautiful listing in Coral Gables and Hallmark 36 or
3613
Alhambra Cut. Thank you very much, Ali. Thank you
so
for
much.
coming today. And guys, welcome again to another episode of the Miami Real Estate Show. I brought this book today. If you want to know, the secrets of top producers, you hear it today from Ashley. You can go to our website. You can go to montielorganization.com and get it there and learn exactly what the top producers are doing today to make it in this business. Until next episode, make it a very, very productive day. Take care, guys.